Alright. Hey everyone, this is Joshua, and it's time to share the Week 9... Yes, Week 9 demo of Gratia. This is essentially the game's beta stage. The entire critical path is functional and pretty much complete in my eyes. As you can see and hear, we've got a title menu, a simple one, but one. We have a title menu and we have we have music. Go to the credits quick. Haha, did I forget to set the music to loop? I might have. Sounds like it. Okay, well, that's pretty much all we need to show of the menu anyway, but I'll have to remember to check that checkbox once the video's done. So if we start here, it'll take it a minute. We are now in the village. I've added some signs to give some general direction of where to go, and pretty much any dialogue with an inanimate object is written from an internal thought perspective now, instead of seeming like the object is talking to you directly. I did have an interesting issue with the dialogue system, though. It seems that naming an actor the same thing as the player actor prevents their name from showing up in the dialogue box. I had to compromise and just label the dialogue you. As you can tell, things are not the greatest around here at the moment. The music is indicative of that. And oh, I've also changed the dialogue box just a little bit so it is a little more legible. And by a little more, I mean a lot more legible. You can actually read the text now. The response menu's changed as well. Pay attention to the music as I'm going through this demo, because it will change periodically, depending on what's going on. You know, like a game. I'm planning to slightly shorten the full stop pause again. With the number of ellipses that I use throughout the game's dialogue, it takes quite a while to print all of it. So, wouldn't hurt to speed that up a little bit, especially for Wisp here. Poor Ghost is not very confident in themselves. I'm gonna start speeding up the dialogue a little bit because most of this I've shown before. Though the NPCs do all have beds now. And there are sound effects. Some, anyway. There's a sound effect for when the quest entry updates to draw a little bit more attention to it. So, as is usual at this point, going into the cave to find a hammer. But the music changes. Also, I've got a little bit of direction from for the various side areas here. And a mysterious obstacle sound. We know the solution to this puzzle. It's been here for a bit. I'm not gonna show the sign because the sign hasn't changed. Got a chest opening sound effect, which is nice and fun. I also did change the appearance of the quest tracker a little bit. Similar reasoning as changing the dialogue UI. It's just a little bit more legible now. I tried to get the same effect with the checkerboard over the black background, but because of the way that the dialogue or the quest tracker, sorry, is set up, I wasn't able to get that to work. So, black background it is. Oh, another thing that I should show, since I forgot to show it with the cave, I put a couple of little barriers in place. So if you try to head to the side areas before it's really time for you to do that, it'll prevent you from going that far. I'm all for exploration, but the music changed. Things are starting to get better. I'm all for exploration, but in this game in particular, I'm trying to tell a more linear story. So it just made more sense to me to restrict access to areas when they're not relevant yet. Before we head to the forest, I want to show another thing. If we go and talk to Luca or Silk when they're not involved in these quests, they have new dialogue. It essentially boils down to, we can't help you, but still something that shows a change in the state of things. Alcanius is a little bit more helpful. They'll kind of remind you of what direction you need to head in if you're going to accomplish the next objective. Now there's something kind of weird going on here. Right here, there is a sign. As far as I can tell, I've set it up exactly the same as any of the other signs, but it's just not showing up. I'm not sure what's up with that, but it's a thing. Also, the cave music is currently playing in the forest, because I don't have forest music yet, but there is going to be forest music if all goes according to plan. I am very thankful for my partner and her ability to write music for this game. Alright. We can give Wisp the bananas. Oh, I shouldn't skip past all of this dialogue, because now we have NPCs actually showing up when dialogue references them and they're not already present. So once again, we can head back into the cave up north. That dirt pile is gone, so we can head over this way. And we know the solution to this puzzle as well, so I'm not going to show it this week, or at least the sign. I do need to make some adjustments to this area so it looks a little bit better, because it is kinda unusual looking. Another thing that I want to show when we're actually talking to Silk is the dialogue options are a little bit more distinct now between which one is selected and which one isn't. I might do a little bit more with that, but for now, this is what it is. There you can see Luca showing up. And then heading back out. Had a little bit of fun with this one. I think I mentioned it in last week's video, but I have my own little format joke here. Since you set quest entries and the actual quest itself separately, I just waited to assign the quest entry until you knew that you weren't gonna know what you were looking for. Going back into the forest here, got this chest. I'm probably going to move Luca a little bit, just because it's kind of hard to tell that they're showing up. That was something that my instructor and I talked about yesterday. But now we can head back to Calcaneus again, and finally get to the last quest. At present, anyway. Pretty much all of this dialogue is the same as last week. Music's happier now, a little bit more hopeful. And again, there's a little bit more guidance as to what you're supposed to be doing. Before we head that way, I want to show again that dialogue's changed. So, the other NPCs will now reference what's been going on. Luca a little bit less so, but they're more concerned with themselves. Wisp has my nice little hand-wavy explanation of all of the things that are appearing and disappearing. Really though, it is just, I need plot barriers. I'm willing to hand-wave some things. If we head back here to the castle again, the castle also has the cave music. Different music forthcoming, but there's actually something to do here now. Go to the statue of Calcaneus. We have a little test here. So, these answers aren't all totally indicated in the game through prior dialogue yet. But eventually my plan is to incorporate these facts about these characters into dialogue, especially later on when the side quests open up, which is the plan for this next week. And that'll kind of reward doing the side quests in the first place. So that takes care of the brazier in that corner and opens one of the 4 doors. We've got more questions to answer. Some of the answers do have unique responses for incorrect ones. For instance, silk does not make salsa. Just for comparison, here's the normal incorrect answer response. And you do have to answer all of the questions again if you get one of them wrong. I figure that's a pretty common thing. Short questionnaire type challenges in games. I don't remember any examples off the top of my head, but I'm fairly certain that I have encountered things like that before. In any case, it's only 3 questions for each character, so not too much to get through. Whichever statue you go to last will tell you to check the cauldron. We We can go do that. I'll probably adjust the placement of that entry. Also, there's a sound effect there now. I'll probably adjust that entry a little bit, just so it gives a little bit more suspense and doesn't say, hey, the curse is broken before the curse actually breaks. We'll see. But now you actually do have to go back to town. We can talk to Calcaneus. I do need to give them a quest tracker, as I have not done that. But they'll express their gratitude, give you some new direction to head south through the valley that we passed by on the way back. But we can also talk to everyone and get a little bit of dialogue for breaking the curse. Before we head out, I'm not going to show all of that in extensive detail, because this has already been a really long devlog. We can also talk to Calcaneus. They've got a little bit more to say as well. And the dialogue does change if you talk to them a second time. With that, we can head out through this valley. And the thing didn't work. That's unusual. Oh well. There's supposed to be a thing there that will take you to the title menu, but I guess that still needs a little bit of figuring out first. It worked when I tested it on my own. But anyway, that pretty much wraps up this week's devlog, at least for the first pass of this demo. I don't think too much will change between now and the conclusion of this week's work, but we'll see about that. Look forward to the next week.